Sun's out, guns out. Let's make over this gun cabinet. Hey everyone, it's Lauren. Welcome to Furniture Flipping Teacher. We are back for another furniture flip, and this is one that I have not done before. We are going to be making over this gun cabinet, but actually giving it another purpose for one of my lifelong neighbors over at my parents' house. I've known her since I was born, and I'm so excited because she has no idea that this is coming. So come along on this journey of making it over and stick around to the end so we can surprise her together. First things first, we're gonna go ahead and remove this gold, shiny, old hardware, and we're gonna be replacing it at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. All right, now that the hardware is off, I am gonna do a little bit of demo. Got my safety glasses on, and we're gonna be removing this part where the guns are usually held because we're repurposing it to have a new use, which is going to be a cabinet that she can hold her quilts in because she is a quilter. Well, we've got one piece off. All right, I think I need to hit it a little bit farther back in the back. Here we go, let's try some more. Got it off in 3 pieces, not too shabby, but I am gonna have to be flexible on this flip already because I was planning on keeping the inside all wood, but as you can see where this was, it is not stained the same color as the rest of it. So thinking of maybe adding in a cute design or something like that with the paint to cover that up a little bit. Let's go ahead and move on to some cleaning. I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Pristine Clean, which pairs really well with their silk paint line. And speaking of Dixie Belle, I'm going to be using all of their products here in this video today because this video is sponsored by Dixie Belle. All links to every product I'm going to be using are linked down below in the description if you're interested in any of them. Pristine Clean is very similar to their White Lightning cleaner where it comes in a granule form. I use White Lightning mostly, so I have that in a squirt bottle and I'm able to use that over and over and over again. The Pristine Clean, I am just going to be dumping a little bit in my bucket here to get some cleaner water. I'm gonna mix that around, and you don't really need too much. It's about a tablespoon for every gallon, and I don't have a gallon, so I just sort of estimate how much will be good. And this is a TSP based cleaner, so definitely a great idea to wear gloves, but this is just gonna help get us to the part where we don't have any more grease on our piece. We don't have any more dirt or dust or grime or any of that stuff will prevent great adherence from our paint. All right, this guy's clean. Now we're gonna go ahead and rinse. There's your dirty water shot. And with cleaning done, let's move on to sanding. Usually I use my Surf Prep sander for pieces like this, but I wanted to also show you guys that you don't have to have a fancy sander in order to get the job done, but it will take you just a little bit longer. I am going to introduce to you Surf Prep's Rad Pads, which actually can be found on Dixie Belle's website as well. So if you're ordering paint, throw these in your cart too. They are really awesome for hand sanding like this, and then also for sanding quick in between coats to smooth it out. So you're gonna get a medium grit, a fine grit, a very fine grit, and a super fine grit. And it tells you exactly what each of those grits will do for you. For this, I am going to use a fine grit because it says that a fine grit is gonna prepare my surface. So that's what I wanna do. So I am gonna look, so the fine pad is the blue one. So I'm gonna grab that, and we're gonna go over the entire surface with this sanding sponge. You'll also need to wear a mask for protection because since I don't have my vacuum dust extractor to remove the dust for me, that's gonna be getting kicked up a lot more and I don't wanna breathe it in. So I'm gonna use my RZ mask right here. Everything sanded down and the dust is wiped back, I'm gonna do one more thing before I get to painting, which is to apply some Dixie mud to those holes where I took the mount out. So Dixie mud is a wood filler by Dixie Belle, and it comes in brown, black, and white, so you can pick your poison. I chose to use brown because that's sort of the closest color to my piece here. A couple other large wood knots around the piece, but I really want to see it with one coat of paint on before I decide if I want to fill those in or if I want that to be a part of the look. So let's get to painting. Of course, I don't want any paint on this glass, so I'm going to go ahead and tape that area off. Deep Sea is the color silk paint that I am going to be putting on this. It's going to be a deep navy blue. And of course, I'm going to be using my Scarlet brush. I actually grabbed a newer one because the other one just got so much love. I love this brush, you guys. Again, it'll be linked down below. I just love how it fits really well in my hand. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the paint to make sure it's all one nice substance. So you may be wondering why I'm not priming, and that's because the silk paint line is an all-in-one paint. So it just suggests that you do a light scuff sanding, and then it's got that built-in adhesion primer. If I was worried about bleed through, I would definitely want to use the Boss from Dixie Belle, but I'm not too worried about it since we're going to such a dark color. And then also it's got the top coat built in. So all we've got to do is put a couple of coats on, and then we'll have a finished piece. right, first coat is finished, so we're gonna let that dry and we'll come back for coat number 2. So I'm just using a super fine rad pad for smoothing out between coats. So my first coat was dry and it just had a little bit of roughness, nothing too crazy, but this will knock down any of those bumps or lumps that you may feel. And then of course, I'm gonna take my microfiber cloth, get rid of all of that dust. And then we're gonna be ready for coat number 2 here. Some finishing touches here on the second coat. I was cutting in with an artist brush. These are really great to have on hand. Honestly, I just picked some up from Walmart in bulk and they've got all sorts of different sizes. So this is done as far as the second coat goes. We do still have to work on the inside here. Remember when I took this part out, there left a line. So I'm gonna have to adjust that here in just a little bit, but we're gonna let this second coat dry and then we'll come back and figure that out. Just cleaning up a little bit around the edges here on the door. I had gotten a little bit of paint on this side and I wanted that to stay wood. And now I am going to be working in here. I am gonna take my sander and sand back that Dixie mud. I did the first layer already and then it wasn't quite ready. It didn't fill it quite all the way. So I'm gonna sand back the second layer now and see where we're at. Everything sanded smooth, so I am going to go ahead and tape off the area that I want to paint. So I'm going to do a stripe about 5 inches along the back as well as along the sides, just to block off that area that just doesn't look like the rest of the wood. All right, so now that I've got my tape down and I've got it really stuck on there, especially where I'm gonna be painting here in the middle, I'm gonna take a clear coat and paint over the top of this area, again, where I'm gonna be painting, because I do not want any bleed through my tape. Generally with the painter's tape, you might not have that issue, but I want to just completely mitigate the chance of that happening and me having to go back and clean it up. So let's grab the clear coat. So I'm gonna use the silk extra coat that is meant for the silk paint, but really if you're doing this, you can use any top coat, polyacrylic, flat, satin, whatever you have on hand. While we wait for this to dry before we can put on some blue, we're going to tackle this window. I am gonna go ahead and take the tape off of this door window part right here. And I'm probably gonna have a little bit of touching up to do, but that's no big deal. This tape really helped me eliminate a lot of the paint that could have been on this glass. I've got my handy dandy razor blade here. I'm just gonna push that out and we are going to just go around the edges to see if there's any paint that ended up on the glass, and we'll just scrape that right off. All right, the the inside's dry, the clear coat, all dry. So I'm gonna just take the same color, deep sea, and do a first coat for the stripe on the inside. Stripe has 2 coats done. It's time to start reassembling while that dries. Actually, I just remembered that it's a great idea to rip off the tape while your paint is still a bit wet. So I'm gonna do that right now. Such crisp lines with that method of putting the clear coat on and then the paint. I've actually never done it before, but I'm so glad I did, and I'll never not do that again. All right, it's time to reassemble the whole gun cabinet, turn into a quilt display case. Touches, I am going to be using some gold gilding wax for the lock here, and then also for the hinges, because that gold is just a little bit too bright and yellowy versus the brushed gold hardware that I put on. So this is going to help tone that down just a tad bit. It's time to deliver. So a little backstory really quick. My neighbor has been my neighbor here at my parents' house for my whole life, and she is really into quilting. And so she randomly one day surprised Neiman and I with a national parks quilt. I will pop a picture up right here to show you guys what she did. It is so awesome. And then last summer we were also talking about me looking for a gun cabinet that we could repurpose into a quilt cabinet. So she can fold her quilts up, but they'll be able to be on display a little bit easier when they're folded up because it's a glass window. So this is a complete surprise to her, just like she did to us. So we are so super excited. Her house is right over here, so let's go. We got a surprise for you. She knows, she knows, she knows. Okay.
Wait, oh!
Okay, ready, go. Yes, we're sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
This was her idea based on the quilt that you gave her. This is a gift from them to us.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at this. This is so
Yeah, it's just a little design.
I know. Look at that.
I was hoping it's going to be wide enough. I figured you can fold them thin and still be able to stack them, and then it's got like enough room for storage and whatnot.
You really did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Oh,
We've
Lauren.
been looking since you mentioned it, and this was like the first gun cabinet we found that didn't have like a deer or like guns or you know anything like that. would say that that was a grand success. She absolutely loved the quilt cabinet that I made out of the gun cabinet right when we pulled up, and she saw that it was us, because before that she had no idea. She knew exactly what we had for her, even though she had forgotten since the time that she had told me all about it. You guys, that was so much fun. I'm so glad to be able to bless people that are near and dear to my hearts, and I'm so glad to also share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and just maybe gave you a little bit of some ideas about how you can transform different pieces of furniture into new things that can still be used by people in different ways. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to get subscribed down below, and we'll see you next Thursday. We'll see you on the flip side.